Hi everybody, I'm Tony Wakefield, Training Director for the Informa Telecoms Academy, and today I'm with Dr. David Everett from Microexpert. They are cryptographic security consultants based at Littlehampton in the UK, with a lot of expertise on things like digital currencies, cloud transaction methods, cryptographic tokens, secure smart cards, etc. And David's recently given a TED talk on a number of these subjects, so we're going to talk about mobile security. So welcome, David.
Good morning, Tony.
Hi, so let's get straight into it then. First of all, smartphones, for example, the vast majority of the world's population have them, and they're looking to do different things with them, some of which is around commerce and monetary transactions. Is the security, is it currently good enough on those smartphones?
I think the truth of it is potentially it could be smart enough, Tony. I think it's the users aren't smart enough in the sense they don't realise the risks they're taking. So if you can imagine the sort of modern smart mobile phone, it's actually a very intelligent, very programmable device. And of course users load programs onto it, and quite often they don't think about what they're doing with those programs. So if you can imagine, if you've got a programmable device and you're allowing users to put programs on it, you are by default opening up your security space. You're opening up the space at which people can attack the phones. And I think what you've got is people have their mobile phones, they think this is something, this is a joy, it enables me to, if you like, do things, I can do all the fun things in life. I'm also going to do all my banking on it, I'm going to do my payments on it. And there's a huge security shift between those two sorts of ideas. And so although the modern phone has a lot of technology in it, has a lot of good security technology, what I think is the way they're being used, by and large, is not correct.
Okay, and the big players in the handset market, Apple, Google, Samsung, they're all supporting mobile transactions. It's a real problem in the fact that the big companies like these are selling their solutions, and on the face of it, it seems like the transactions should work without any real issues. Is that a problem? Do you see that as a problem in the industry?
Do you know, it's all worried because you've mentioned it. We've got Apple Pay, we've got Samsung Pay, and of course now we've got Android Pay popping out again. So Google's second attempt at a wallet. And the answer is it could be right, but in general I think it's not, and people don't realise where the problems are. So if you take Apple Pay, Apple in a way has a very good idea. What Apple says is if you want to get an app onto an Apple phone, you're going to go through our system and we're going to regulate it, we're going to moderate it, we're at least going to have a look at those apps and we're going to try and at least block the major malware attacks. You can't get everything, but Apple are going to have a pretty good go at filtering out the obvious. When you get into the world of Android, which is the greater majority of phones of course, that doesn't happen. So by and large you can pick up apps left, right and centre, even outside of the Play Store. And of course there's a lot of malware in those apps. And the way that the things like we just mentioned sort of Apple Pay and Android Pay, the way they work is really subtly different underneath the hood. So both of them are using tokenization. Tokenization is the sort of modern approach. You look at mobile phone, you think these things are really not very secure. So what I'll try and do is I'll try and limit what is stored in the phone. And so tokenization is a very, very popular technique. So what it says, I'm not going to store the credit card details actually in the phone. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use a token that represents the credit card details, and I'm then going to go up to a secure host somewhere that's going to do the decoding between the token and the real credit card details to put it into the payment system. Now, Apple does that by using a secure element, a secure chip, which is actually in the phone, and it's actually creating a dynamic token, which from a security point of view is quite good. Nothing's perfect, but that's not bad. That's a pretty good approach. And if you look at things like Android Pay, they're using things like host card emulation, which is a software way of trying to do the same thing. Nowhere near secure. And of course you haven't got the foundation platform on which to base that either. So in my view, Apple Pay is sort of going the right way. Things like Android Pay still have, I think, from my point of view, I think quite a bit of thinking to do from a security point of view.
Okay, and what about the SIM card? I mean, we were at the Mobile World Congress last week, and embedded SIM was one of the major themes. But whether it's a physical SIM card or a mobile an embedded SIM card. Is that not going to protect smartphones?
Wow. Now, so what you want in your phone is you do want a hardened security chip. So at the moment now we're used to the SIM, the mobile SIM, if you like, you plug in and out of the phone. And of course that is totally controlled by the mobile network operator. So the SIM card, if you like, is their ownership, part of the mobile phone. They effectively purchase against their specs, they program it and have it personalized against their spec. The mobile network operator has total control of that secure element. However, the world is moving towards embedded SIM. And what embedded SIM says is the mobile phone manufacturer puts a chip, it could be a good chip, so a hardened security chip, they build that into the platform of the phone, it's on one of the motherboards of the phone. And that chip is secure, it's just as secure as a portable SIM card, no different in that sense. But of course, it's being put together by the mobile phone manufacturer, not by the mobile network operator. So now you have to have a way of the mobile network operator actually personalizing that embedded chip to turn it into his equivalent SIM card. So you're into a whole set of new processes. What are the interactions? What are the, if you like, the protocols by which over the air the mobile network operator can set up that embedded SIM in a secure way, of course. And that's a whole new world.
Okay, and we started hearing about trusted execution environments. We've had quite a lot of that over the last couple of years. I mean, is that going to help? Is that going to be okay?
Oh, well, I mean, magnificent idea. And in fact, ARM have been looking at trust zone. It must go back 5-10 years. So the ideas of making the mobile phone, if you like, the core chip platform more secure is really quite an old idea. No different in a way to the trusted platform module, which you may remember again back in the 90s. Microsoft were a big supporter. So the idea is, why not at the core chip level? Why not build in a security platform at that level? And so what ARM have come up with is, in their designs, they effectively have a kind of a split in the way that the basic core processing architecture is working. So you can have a supervisor mode and a user mode. And actually through hardware, through the buses, you can actually use signals by which you can define whether the software is operating in, if you like, the supervisor mode or the user mode. And that's kind of, it's conceptually a great idea. But if you think it through, that on its own is not enough, because of course the whole boot architecture, the whole operating system, all the basic drivers have to fit within that supervisor mode. So the problem you've actually got is you have to set up all the core software against that design concept. And that in itself is no mean feat, because so many people are involved. So conceptually the idea is good, but I think so far we've really not managed to put that together in a secure way. And it never happened with Trusted Platform Module. It was never really taken up in the way currently envisaged.
Okay, David, it's been absolutely fascinating and a real pleasure talking to you today. Thanks ever so much. And for everybody else, we'll see you next time. Thanks. Bye.
My pleasure. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.